students, today we're going to be discussing about market failure. Okay, in the opening discussions of the course, we've already discussed that in the perfect settings of economics, market economic will produce something that both are productive and efficiency, allocative efficiency. So both productive and allocative efficiency. What is productive efficiency? Productive efficiency is conditions where all producers will produce outputs or products that is the most valued by consumers, and at the same time also using the most efficient and costly effective ways of producing goods. So that's why it's called as a productive efficiencies. On the other hand, we have also conditions what we call in the perfect market settings, competitive market setting, as allocative efficiencies. Allocative efficiency is mostly seen from the perspective of consumers. So here is the conditions where consumers will buy goods which are most valued by them. So there are different goods in the markets, and consumer will choose based on the budget line, but based on their income, which one are the value most. So in the perfect setting, both are market productive as well as allocative efficiencies. Sometimes, as we know, that market can experience a failure. Okay, this market failure can be defined as both in the sense of like demand side failure or supply side failure. Okay, so market can vary. The demand side failure is defined as a demand what happen when demand curve do not reflect consumer full willingness of to pay for the good or service that he or she will experience. Similarly, the supply side market failure is conditions where supply curve does not reflect the full cost of producing a good or service. And we know that in the efficient market settings, there will be no allocative or offer allocations or other allocations, because demand and supply reflect the true cost and the true willingness of consumers and producers to produce and demand for the goods. If those conditions does not fulfill, in other words, like as I mentioned before, the supply curve does not reflect the true willingness of producers or the cost of producing a good, and the demand curve does not reflect the true willingness of consumer to produce a good, then we're going to experience what we call as a market failure. In this market failure concepts, then it is important for us to learn about consumers and producer surplus. These market failures, in order to analyze and quantify this market failure, several things that we have to learn. I mean, like the first one is obviously about the consumer surplus and producer surplus. The other things that we have to know is about like the difference between private and public goods. Similarly, we have to know between the difference between negative and positive externalities. All these three key concepts, producer consumer surplus, negative and positive externalities, and as well as public and private goods, can be learned more in the materials that have been uploaded in the documents, as well as the link that's provided below. Thank you for listening.